So this is what happens when you forget that you have to cook dinner. So I have butter in the pan. I had chicken breasts that were defrosted in the refrigerator. I had just bought yesterday, or 2 days ago, whatever day it was. And I'm going to kind of throw together something, and I don't know what. So you'll be interested to see what I do. Okay, so I'm going to open the chicken breast. And I don't have to do much to it as far as cleaning it because it's pre-cleaned for me. So I pull it out, and these stupid pieces of paper annoy me very much. And I'm going to have to season these. So I'm going to need some type of seasoning, and hopefully you can still hear me because I have to go wash my hands to pull out my seasoning. Let's see what I have. We're gonna do some paprika. I don't know if you can see that. I have, a little dill. And I have something called a 3-onion rub. I don't know if you can see that, but it has some stuff in it. I don't know what it's in there. Dehydrated onions, dehydrated red onions, salt, green onions, and whatnot. So I'm going to season my chicken. If I can open my seasonings. I actually like dill, so I put a lot in. Most people don't like that much dill, but I love it. And I also love paprika. And this stuff is actually really good, but only made specifically by one company, so it's not something you can actually go and find. And plus I'm out of red onions and yellow onions and white onions, all those onions. So I have to use the stuff that I just put on. Now, I'm cooking with the seasoned side down first, and you're probably asking yourself, why seasoned side down? That's because I can put more seasoning on top, on the second side. This is actually too crowded of a pan. They say not to put that much in there, but I don't have room for 2 pans, nor do I have room for or time to do 2 separate pans, so we're gonna make it work. Now, I had it on super low so I didn't burn my butter while getting everything else ready. So I just heated it up, or put it up a little bit higher. So I'm on, like, if you have numbers on your stove, I'm at about 6. Or if you have like low, medium, high, I'd say this is like about a medium. Now since these chicken breasts are thinly sliced, they will not take that much time to cook once it heats up, but when it does, you're going to hear the sizzle, and when I stop talking, you might hear it a little bit, or you might hear the rain outside. But we're going to let it cook a little bit. We'll flip everything over, and I will get my next ingredient. Okay, so I cooked the chicken, and at the bottom, that's just juices that came from the chicken, and the brownish is more of the paprika that I put in there. I'm going to take this cooking wine. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. I'm going to throw in a little bit into the pan. And just kind of let that cook a little. Now, a lot of people add salt to everything. I tend to not add salt, and it's just a personal preference. I feel like everything else has salt and it's not necessary, but if you want to put salt in, by all means, go ahead and do so. And as I said, I'm going to put this down a little. As I said, I really have no idea what I'm making. This is pretty much all the stuff I had in my pantry. And most American households have pantries that have canned soups. So I have a cream of mushroom soup, if you can see that. There we go. I do have some cream of mushroom soup I'm going to put in here. Now it's condensed, so generally when cooking with this, they say to add milk or water. Usually milk because it's a cream-based soup. But what I'm going to do right now is see how it is if I mix it with what I have in the pot already. And perhaps I will thin it out slowly with the milk. And I think you probably all can hear my cat. You can say hi to Gus. Yeah, this is definitely going to need something, but let's just kind of let it kind of cook out and kind of thin out so it looks very even and consistent. Definitely going to need some milk. Now, I don't know why everyone pours the milk into the can and then pours it into the soup. I guess it's more of a measuring thing, but it just always was odd to me. I don't want this too thick, but I don't want it too thin. So that's why I'm putting a little bit in at a time. I think it's going to be a little more difficult because it is a bit lumpy. And that's probably just because it is a condensed canned soup. So let me get this to a fairly consistent soup or gravy, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I have this stuff. It's called creamy garlic herbs spreadable cheese. I'm going to throw it in there because why not? I happen to have it, and I think it will make it taste good, and it sounds kind of delicious. So I have 2 pieces of that. I had to move down the heat because it was a little too hot. Let's throw that in there. Just adds a little flavor. I'll let that cook in. And I'm also going to add mushrooms. Because it's cream of mushroom soup, you might as well add mushrooms to it. So I don't have any fresh mushrooms. So right now I'm going to open a can of canned mushrooms. Usually mushrooms come in water. You gotta empty that water out because you don't want to make these sauce watery. Stems and mushrooms. It's a lot of mushrooms. I usually have smaller cans, but this is going to have to do for now. It's not perfectly thinned out. There's still lumps in there, but that's fine. As it cooks, it will work itself out. And I'm going to actually taste this. Definitely taste mushroom and cream. I don't really taste much of the other spices I used before. So I'm going to use, it's called Gravy Master. And it's actually something you use to start making gravies, like a brown gravy, beef gravy. It's used, or they claim to be, an agent for browning, caramelizing, and seasoning. It's actually caramelized sugars, caramel color, water, apple cider vinegar, salt, spices, and what have you. It's not, I don't know what the best way to explain this is, but it just tastes good to me. So I'm going to put it in there and make my seasoning, or my gravy brown. Part of it's for color and part of it's for flavor. If you have Worcestershire sauce or Westchester sauce or Worcestershire sauce, however you want to pronounce it, it's very similar to that, but I happen to have this on hand, so I threw this in. Washed my spoon. We'll taste it again, see what I can add to it. Tastes pretty good. It tastes to me very simplistic. I might add a little nutmeg. That's usually used when it's more of a sweet. And then this is a little bit of cumin. Now, I don't generally use cumin, but I'm going to give it a whirl. And I just put very little on that one because I'm not 100% sure. And again, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more sherry wine. Just waiting for it to bubble or boil, simmer, whatever word you want to use, before I go ahead and put in all the chicken. Back in the chicken. try to cover them. Really don't want to dry them out. Now, it's okay if they overlap, because if they're under the sauce, it's not a problem. And a little extra juice that was left. It's going to incorporate in, so like I said, I'm just going to wait until it starts simmering. You see it's bubbling. And then I'll put it down and just let it stay warm. So at this point I have it on 2 or just low. And this is the end product. I had some rice pilaf, and that's the chicken, and so far so good. I'll let you know how it tastes next time.